see how this goes.
I would just rather get to salvation.
Excuse me. On the issue of conversion. First of all, what happens in a Muslim country, and our panelist on the other aisle, Dr. Voglaary, lived in Egypt long enough to know that it may and it may not reflect what Islam is. Do you agree, Dr. Voglaary? Thank you. It may and it may not reflect what Islam is, whether in Egypt or elsewhere. So realities do not make religion, but religion should shape realities. The fact that Islam accepts anyone entering into the religion, it is the openness of Islam. Islam invites everybody to come to Allah, submit to Him, read the scriptures, and follow what it says to the letter and the spirit as much as they can. And this is the spirit of Islam, as much as you can. There is a law in every single country. We're talking here about a country law and an Islamic law. There is a law in every state in the world, whether secular or otherwise, about what they call the grand treason law. The grand treason law calls for anyone who rebels against this country. It is laws, it is objectives, and what it is about, that this person has committed the utmost unacceptable crime, and the punishment is what? Can someone answer? Death. No compromise, because he's committing the greatest and the grievous of disobedience and rebellions against the country. Islam does not believe in boundaries, so to speak, as established by man. Islam believes that all the earth is the earth of God, yet does not provide for Muslims to apply the law of God except on a territory or piece of territory that they have sovereignty over. For example, Muslims are minority in America. If someone reverts from Islam to Christianity back or forth or whatever, Islam does not really provide the authority to execute the law of grand treason, so to speak, on that person. But if he does it in a country where Islam is established as a way of life, as a holistic, comprehensive system, where it addresses individuals, families, social system, economic system, educational system, political system, if Islam is really applied comprehensively, and here's a person who has either been a Muslim for his life or accepted Islam on free will. In Egypt, for my own personal knowledge, because I work through the system in Al-Azhar, Dr. Voglaary can correct me, if any Christian comes to accept Islam, it is required that they call 2 ministers, not one, to come and minister to the person and ask him questions and answer to his questions, and no one will attend to it. It will be very private. And then after they finish, if the man is still convinced, I want to become a Muslim, then he will go to the person in Al-Azhar or whatever, and he will be, the Al-Azhar will call for 2 ministers for him. Dr. Voglaary can check this for me or correct me. Christian ministers.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question just for the benefit of the audience, since
Yes.
this is a critical issue?
Yes.
Do you know what the Hanafi school?
We will talk
fiqh
about
says-
this. Yes, we will talk about. Let us establish the principle.
2 points of view on that.
Let us establish the principle of it, and then we can talk about details. So, entering into religion is voluntary. It's on basis of self-initiation and commitment. The Quran makes it so clear that let there be no compulsion in religion. No one forces anyone to accept Islam, or should enforce anyone to accept any religion. Islam would also defend the right of a Christian, a Jew, who lives under the Islamic jurisdiction, not to be forced or pressured or even persuaded to accept Islam one way or the other. On the contrary, if it is discovered that someone is trying to be a Muslim under persuasion or pressure, his declaration of the faith would not even be accepted. That's the law of Islam. So coming into Islam, into the fold of Islam with this attitude, through this procedure, then one lives with Islam, lives with Muslims, lives by Islam, to discover the beauty of it. It is the religion of Abraham. It addresses issues that he might have had with him in Christianity in more clarified, decisive way about Jesus, who Jesus was, who God is, what is the relationship between prophets and their creator, what their mission was. It addresses all of this. After all this comprehension and acceptance and the love and the application of the religion in his life, then he decides on his own free will.
Shorter, please.
Okay. The question was long.
The answer has to be long.
See, then he decides to revert. What is he reverting against is really the only law of the land, which is the law of oneness of God and devotion and submission to him. He is reversing against the doctrine and the eternal reason for which the entire state is established. To me, it is equal to the grand treason that a person would commit against the country, because Islam, as I said, does not protect just a land. It basically establishes a state to serve the religion and not a religion to protect the state. However, in Islam, he does not have to be killed according to some schools of thought that are recognized and well respected. And not only that, but he will be given an unlimited number of days to repent. Some scholars go to say he may not be killed at all, so long as he is in discussion and communication about what he wants to do. Why does he rebel on Islam? Explanation will be given to him so long as he wants to. The issue about killing an apostate or persecuting an apostate for his faith is done under some schools of thought. Some go against it and they say, no, he doesn't have to be killed. It's a freedom of religion. And we have two schools of thought dealing with this, and it only happens under the jurisdiction of the Islamic State.
One short brief note, because you have to reflect the two sides of the coin.
I know, so go ahead without fighting.
I am glad that Shakir have emphasized that there are different scholars, different points of view. This is one of the openness of Islam to accept more than one point of view. I am very proud to say that the Quran is the only book that says La ikraha fi din. There is no compulsion in faith. There is no compulsion in religion. To me, it is a pure, unadulterated statement on the decision of each individual to select the faith, to select the belief, to control what they believe in, to make a decision for their own. History tells us that Christians and Muslims lived in complete freedom with the Muslims. The conditions that Brother Shakir also beautifully emphasized about all these steps, this applies into the Islamic states, and so far none of these countries in the Middle East, as far as we know, these are governments, like the government of Egypt, the government of this and that. These are not Islamic government. The majority of the people might be Muslims, but we know very, very well that these are not Islamic countries where Islamic laws are applied even. I mean, Muslims themselves are persecuted under these governments just like as much as, or maybe even more than anyone else.
We are running out of time. So
I know, but this is an important, very important,
then
crucial
they have
question.
to leave for the plane. That's
Oh,
the
I'm
point.
sorry.
So
What I'm going to say is, if you study the history of Christianity, you will find out there had been an awful lot of killing about conversion from Catholicism to Protestant and persecution. So actually, if we will get this point here, we will find it more applies to the Christian faith or the history of it more than the Islamic faith. Thank you.
thank you. May I ask you kindly to just make a final comment, one of you, and
each of us or just one of us?
just one, because we're running out of time.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. I'm sorry. Both of my colleagues have
Let them each have
something to
a
say.
final.
Then let's make it 30 seconds or
Oh,
something.
okay.
Go ahead. Or 2 minutes for.
Well, okay. Let me just read what I've written here. Very brief. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. I think it's been a great occasion to meet and to share and to be together in spirit, in mind and heart, in the presence and under the lordship of God. I think all of us recognize that. these comments. Muslims are disturbed, agitated, even angry.